Okay, there it is. I finally got the journal printed. Probably wondering, well, how did you do that, Dave? If you haven't been following along, I can understand why you would ask that. But if you have been following along, then you know exactly what I did. I put my files into Amazon's KDP program, and they gave me a book. Now I'm gonna show you exactly how I went through the whole KDP process so that you can go do the same thing for yourself. Let's go! What's going on, guys? My name is Dave Conry. I'm an artist designer based in Southern California, and I'm gonna make this portion really fast because the remainder of the portion is actually really extensively and ridiculously and stupidly long. What we're talking about here today, folks, is I went and created my initial file using Affinity Publisher. I'll link to that one right there. Boom. Then in my last video, I took that file and I exported it out as a PDF, and I showed you how to do all of those things. You can see that one there. Now in this video, I'm gonna tell you how I took all those files, put it into Amazon's KDP system, and then I got a book in return. I will do all that in just a second, but not before I say, hey, if you are enjoying this, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already, hit that bell button because you never want to miss a thing, and then if you think other people would appreciate it, send it, share it with all of your homies. There's a share button down there. Share it everywhere. Thank you. Okay, no more dilly-dally. Let's jump right into it. So here we are in KDPs. I'm gonna go ahead and sign in. As you can see, I have already added this document here. Like I said, I had to jump through all the hoops, so I already did it. I'm gonna go ahead and continue the setup on this one. This whole process is pretty simple, but you wanna make sure that you get this handled, especially this first part. Do as much research as you can on search engine optimization for Amazon KDP, keywords, writing descriptions. Make sure you go and find out as much information about all that as you can because that's important stuff for this. This interface is pretty simple. My language is English. My book title, Beacon 90-Day Goals and Gratitude Journal, a daily gratitude journal that keeps you creatively focused and accountable to your goals while giving you more grace and blah, blah, blah. It's not part of a series. Like a series would be like, say, Harry Potter is a series, right? So book 1, book 2, book 3, so on and so forth. We're not doing that here. I could make this edition 1 if I wanted to because I know what I'm going to do is change the cover every 90 days. And that could be the next edition and the next edition. So just for our purposes, I'm gonna go ahead and hit edition number 1. Primary information about author, that's me, Dave Conry. If I had any contributors, like if I had a photographer that did the art for me, if I had editors that I wanted to include, I didn't, but if I did, I could put them here. I have a description here that allows for, I believe it's 5,000 characters. Now, of course, I imported all this text and it's completely messed it up. I had some sort of formatting, so I'm probably gonna have to go back in and fix it. You can do really basic HTML to kind of create formatting here. Super basic. It doesn't take a lot, but you know, if you want to add a little bit of bold, a little bit of italics, maybe some bulleted lists, you can do that stuff here. I probably should have done that. I didn't do it. I forgot that that's actually the process. I don't know why KDP doesn't allow for some sort of WYSIWYG editor, but it doesn't. And so I'm gonna go back in here and figure this out. But I put as much information as I could. I actually took this, I extracted this from the book and put it in here because I want to have as much information in the description as possible so that if people decide to come, maybe they're the Amazon search spider find some information within the information that I put here in the description and lead people to that because of the information I put here. Moving along, I own the copyright. I hold necessary publishing rights to this information because obviously I created the whole thing by myself. This is not a public domain work. If it was a public domain, I would definitely want to click that. And keywords, this is where you want to follow up with some of this information. I did a little bit of searching on Amazon and came up with some of these keywords for myself: gratitude journal, creative journal, productivity, daily journal, scrapbook, self-awareness, artist. You have a chance to put your book into 2 different categories, and it actually took me a second to figure out where should I put a journal like that. I put mine under self-help and creativity. If you go and choose your categories, you click that and it will break out all these different things. Of course, it's nonfiction. We're not really writing a novel here. And then you go in and you can find your, you know, you can put it under art maybe in general if that's the way you wanted to do, or I don't know, if you were doing a recipe book, you could do it under cooking. You know, find the best place that you possibly can. But also, what I've heard, I can't fully attest to this, but this is advice that I've heard from professionals. Don't be afraid to put it into a category that's a little less obvious because you might be better found in that space than the more typical or more popular category. Just a thought. Does it include adult content? No, it does not. So then I go ahead and save and continue. That process should just take about a minute. When you're printing a book, you need to have an ISBN number. Can't remember what ISBN stands for, but it's the code on the back of the book that tells booksellers around the world that if they had your book in their book place, that it would register that. Now, if you're going to sell this book anywhere besides Amazon, then you're going to need an ISBN that is independent of Amazon. Amazon will give you a free one for any book that you publish if you are planning to only sell through KDP and the places where Amazon can sell your book directly. As you can see here, that's the route I went, and I don't have any intention of taking this book and giving it to other booksellers around the country. I'm not doing a book tour over this thing. I'm not going to be doing that. You're not going to see this book in Barnes & Noble, not likely ever. But if you wanted to be that person, if you wanted to have your book in those places, then you're going to need to go buy your own ISBNs. And I believe you can buy them in bulk in different places. I'll do a little bit of research on that and put links in the description below of places where you can buy ISBNs. They're not super cheap, and you usually have to buy them in bulk, like maybe like 10 or more. So if you were planning on doing more books, that would be great. But if you're only planning on doing this one, then maybe, just maybe, the free ISBN from KDP from Amazon is your best bet. Publication date is when I uploaded this the first time. Print options: black and white interior with cream paper, black and white interior with white paper, or premium color interior with white paper. Basically, do you want cream paper, white paper? If you want, if it's a black and white like a book, or like I've done mine in completely grayscale, then I can make that choice between cream or white. I picked white. And if you're doing color, you only have one choice. So if it's colored, that's what you do. If you want to pick anything else, other than black, well, if you want cream, pick cream. If you want white, pick white. Trim size on my book is 6x9, but I could select a different size, and they have a whole bunch of different sizes here. These are kind of standard sizes, some other new standards, and then you can even do really completely random sizes if you wanted, because they have that kind of capability. I've never done that. 6x9 is pretty much a standard for stuff like this, so I picked that one. Now again, if you had your book set up to no bleed, then you definitely want no bleed. If you have it to bleed, then you're going to want to bleed. Here's one sticking point that I'm not 100% sure about, because I've always set mine to bleed, because I always have something falling off the page usually. My cover bleeds, and I could design my interior to not bleed. But does that mean that I still have to pick bleed because my cover bleeds? Or does my cover have to not bleed as well? I don't know. It's a tough one. Once you get the manuscript up there, and if you were to pick no bleed, and they said, well, you're not bleeding, and the page is not right, well, then you'd have to make that adjustment. I'm already bleeding profusely from the side of the head. My document bleeds, so I just went ahead and picked bleed. Now, paperback cover finish, I personally like the matte cover finish. I've gotten books done in the glossy, and it's okay, but I personally like the matte cover finish. If you want, you can pick one, get a sample printed, and then go back and change it to the other one. As long as you have your book in KDP, you can make adjustments to all of these things anytime you want. So now I already have this information available. I already uploaded my manuscript, but basically you would come in here and you would click your manuscript and you would upload it, and it would take a couple of seconds, maybe about 30 seconds depending on the size of your manuscript, and that gets processed. If you don't have a cover, you can always use Amazon's cover creator. It's pretty rudimentary. You're not going to be high quality in this thing at all. Instead, I would more recommend that you go find somebody who is a professional designer to make a book cover for you if you don't feel like you can do it, because this cover creator isn't going to do you much justice. But if it's your only option, it's available. I would actually tell you, maybe go look at Canva, the app that you can use where you can build stuff like this. Create a cover that way as opposed to this, because this is super clunky. And especially as a professional designer, it kind of hurts me in the heart to do that. Of course, I've created my own cover, so I uploaded that. Then you have to come in here to Launch Previewer. You are not able to go anywhere further until you launch the preview and you give it an approval. Now, I've already given my approval, so that's why we're already here. I'm going to launch this previewer first. The previewer normally will take a little bit of time for a new manuscript and a new cover design. It takes a second to process this information. It reads all the data. It sees if you have any blank pages. It sees if your pages are not the right size like they were in my case. This is where I was struggling, and I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. As you can see, I've got the cover, everything's in check, and if you have any problems, they will come up in here in bright red. They will tell you, hey, guess what? your thing's wrong, dude. Maybe your cover size isn't correct because of the spine. Maybe it's not the highest resolution. Maybe the fonts weren't embedded. It'll tell you things like that so that you can go in and fix that. What I'd also like to do is look at the thumbnail view so that I can see. This is where I saw that things were missing. Like I would go and if you zoom in here to this spread here, 6 and 7, it was showing me like this whole side of the calendar was missing, or this whole side of the text was missing. That was my sticking point, and it all came down to the fact that I had to export it as spreads as opposed to individual pages. Don't do that. If everything checks out, you've got all your stuff perfect, then all you got to do is approve it. If there are problems, go ahead and exit the print preview, fix the problems in your manuscript or your cover, upload them again, and then launch the previewer again, and then go through the whole process. It's a pain, but they just want to make sure you're producing the highest quality thing you possibly can, which is what you should be trying to achieve anyway. Once that's all done, then you can hit save and continue, and then this other aspect, which you probably won't see right out of the gate, is the summary of everything. You can see here it's telling me interior pages, bleed settings, paperback cover, trim size, page count. It's telling me all this information to remind me of what I've got going on here. Now this price right here, this $3.42, that is the base cost for my book. Before any royalties are divvied up between Amazon and I, this is the price that they are going to charge me for every single book. So if I have my book for 20 bucks, they're going to take $3.42 off of that 20 bucks, and then they're going to take their cut off of the rest. Let me show you what I mean. Save and continue. So as you can see, I just put $20 here under Amazon.com, and it will go. I can also make adjustments under all these different marketplaces. This is the UK. This DE is what is that? Denmark, I think, France, Spain, Italy, Japan, and Canada. Expanded distribution is when Amazon sells the books to other places, like other bookstores or whatever, so that they can do that. It's basically it's them pushing it out to other places. The cost is a little bit different. Your cut is a little bit different for that versus Amazon.com. The royalty that I get is 60% of everything that's sold over $3.42. So my royalty is $8.58. These are all my marketplaces, and I can set all my information independently for each one, and that's it. This is the final step. This is the final stride. This is the last stretch. You have a chance here. You can request printed proofs of the book, and what you do is you do this. It'll give you up to 5 printed proofs, and they charge you for it, but they only charge you that $3.42 just to print the book. That is the one and only time you are able to get those printed proofs before you publish. If you publish this, you will never get that price again. You will get a very cheap price. You'll get author level pricing, but it's never going to be that $3.42. You want to have any kind of pre-publish copies to give to people, this is that time. Or if you just want to do one so you can look through it, which I always do. Whenever I get this done, I always at least get one printed so that I can see it myself and then make adjustments like, oh, the art's a little bit weird on the cover, I need to move it over a little bit. Oh, these pages are a little too close to the spine, I need to move those over a little bit. Make those adjustments, go back in and do this whole process again about uploading the file and to go through a print preview and all that stuff, just to make sure that my manuscript is good, my cover is good, and then once I've done that, which I don't have these yet, once I get mine and go through that whole process, then I'm gonna hit publish, and boom, it's out there. Within, I don't know, 24 hours or whatever. It's out into Amazon's universe. You can send people to that link to buy the book, or you can go in and get a bunch of author copies yourself and sell them through your own website. Once I hit that publish button, it's available, ready to go. So there you go, that's everything you need to know about getting one of these suckers printed. Now, this one here is a not for resale author version. This is me buying one copy of it for myself so that I can proof it. And I did make some changes to my document after the fact. Like, as you can see, it's a little tight on this side right here. You can see right there, it's a little tight. And then on the inside, because this thing ended up being so thick, it's a little tight in the margins. This spread here got a little bit too tight and I wasn't comfortable with that. So I made a little bit of adjustment to the pages within here, just a little bit, and then I republished it. Fingers crossed, I'm hoping that by the time you see this, Amazon will have actually published this and you can get your hands on the Beacon 90-Day Gratitude and Goals Journal. It will be available. This is the first version, and the next one within the next 90 days will have a different cover. It'll be, the most of the stuff on the inside will be the same, but by that time you will have worked through it because it's been 90 days. Brand new cover, brand new art every 90 days. That's the plan. That is, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't know. I could sell nothing and, you know, then I'd be obligated to do these forever. We'll see what happens, but I'm hoping that they become something solid. I'm not sure why I'm banging the book so hard. I'm hoping that they become something cool and other people will appreciate it. And if you appreciated this, go purchase one in the link that should, hopefully, fingers crossed, be down below. You will also be able to find these on my website. That link will definitely be in the description. There you go, folks. I hope you appreciated all that extensive knowledge on how to publish your own book through Amazon's KDP, how to build it, how to publish it, how to get it into the hands of others. Well, that's a whole other different conversation. Anyway, hope you appreciated that. If you have any questions, do me a favor, go down in the comments and ask them. Let me know what I missed. Let me know what you didn't understand. Let me know if you think I should have included something else. I'll do my best to answer those questions either in the comments or maybe in a future video. Who knows? And while you're down there leaving that comment, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so yet, because we're going to be doing so many cool things in 2021. Yes! Hit the bell button because you never want to miss a thing. And then, of course, share this with all of your homies because you know you want to. Spread some of this love around. That's it, guys. I'm done. I've been Dave Connery. You've been awesome, and I'm out of here. Remember, be good today, be even better tomorrow. See ya.